for chairman and vice chairman. Just for the sake of the records, my name is Richard Nelson. I am a board member of CPE. So I trust all of you received a submission of names of those interested in serving as chairman or vice chairman. Have you all had a chance to look those over? I guess let me take a step back here. Do I need to do a roll call, Travis? Do we need to?
I think, Chair, I think we all, if you just want to acknowledge, I believe all our members are here, and we do have a quorum. So with such a small number, I don't think we need to call roll.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So with that said, Kevin Weaver and Christy Nelson are joining me on this, serving as the nominating committee. And Kevin and Christy, have you both received the names and the statement of interest from those interested?
Yes.
I have.
Okay, very good. Were there any, let's see here. So the slate of officers on the agenda, that's the next item on the agenda. We've got to consider the slate of officers and nominations. The three names that have been submitted is Bob Stott, Lucas Menzer, and Eric Ferris. And Lucas and Eric have submitted themselves as a slate. Lucas is interested in serving as the chairman. Eric is interested in serving as the vice chairman. Bob Stott had his name forward just as an individual, not on a slate. I had asked what the practice has been in the past regarding slates of candidates, and traditionally there have been slates, a chair and a vice chair. That's how it's been done. There's no bylaw that says that there has to be a slate, but I think for simplicity's sake, there has been a chair and vice chair that has been considered together, and then the nominating committee would vote on that slate to forward to the overall CPE to approve, to ask for approval for leadership, chair and vice chairman. Are there any questions on the statements or on the candidates that have been put forward?
Yes. If someone could clarify or confirm the duration of their current appointment to the board, that would be helpful to me.
So
I can
just go ahead, Travis.
You want me to do that?
Please
Richard,
do.
I'm happy
Please
to.
do.
Yeah. Okay. So currently, Luke's appointment runs through the end of 2022, and he'll be on his first term. Eric Ferris is a newly appointed member. His runs through the end of 2025. And Dr. Stat, I believe Heather, are you on? I'm looking at this thing you sent me. I seem to recall that he is at the end of his term. He'll be at the end of his term this year. Is that correct?
Actually, yes, June 30. Because the faculty terms are, they run like on an academic year.
Yeah, and then he'll finish his 6-year term ending June 30th of this year, and I believe he is eligible for reappointment. I don't know about if the term limits apply to the 2 term limits apply to the faculty or not, but his term is up, and as with any of our members, you serve until you're either reappointed or someone's appointed in your place.
And shoot, there was one other question I was going to ask you. My apologies. That'll do for right now.
Okay.
Christy, that's a good question. And as you recall, and others on this call right now are reminded, we met back in January to consider leadership for 2021. And we knew that Ben Brandstetter and Kim Hallbauer, of course, were leading last year, but they were up this year. We were expectant, I think some were expectant that they'd get reappointed, and they were not. by the governor. So that is, Christy, your point, very good point there, as to when the terms end.
Just one more thing to mention, and I did get clarification. I just pulled the statute. All appointees can serve no more than 2 consecutive full terms. So that would apply to the faculty representative as well. So
is this Bob's first term or second?
it's a second, right, Heather?
That is correct. He has served 8 years because the faculty terms are 4 years long.
And Bob addressed that in his email to all of us, that I think he is termed out as a faculty representative, but he is hoping and anticipates to be appointed as a general at large, whatever the proper terminology would be, member of the council.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I can only speak on behalf of myself. I've served as the chairperson of the nominating committee, I believe, for the last 2 years, and was absolutely involved in making a decision to recommend a slate of chair and vice chair for this current term. And the current term is for the fiscal year 2021. Fiscal meaning calendar year, I guess I should say, not the state's fiscal year, but the calendar year. With the understanding and appreciation that, number one, that their terms may continue to run because they may not be replaced or they may be reappointed. We did go ahead and nominate Ben and Kim. I feel like with that experience under my belt, I guess, as a figure of speech, I would not be inclined to, again, recommend a candidate, albeit someone who is wildly committed to this organization and absolutely qualified to serve in a leadership position, because I think for the stability of the organization, we've now gone for a couple of months with no one in these leadership positions. There's no guarantee that he will be appointed for an at-large or other position on the board going forward. And we've got enough new members and lack of continuity. My level of comfort is at this point serving on this particular committee, unless there's some reason to ensure that they're qualified with a term that runs through the term of the office. So for me, I think it's important that both Lucas and Eric have terms that run into or beyond the term of office, which is 2021 from a calendar year perspective. So that's my input as a nominating committee member. I feel like continuity is important. And again, without any kind of visibility into what the governor will do and no obligation for the governor to provide us with that visibility, I feel like this organization needs the stability and the continuity for the rest of this calendar year in leadership. So my personal recommendation as a nominating committee member would be to go with the slate presented who would be qualified for the full calendar year, and that's Lucas and Eric.
All right. Christy, thank you for your input. Your comments are well taken. Kevin, do you have any thoughts on the names that were forwarded to us for leadership?
I think that that's a very good point. That may be the primary differentiating factor in these. We have 3 very worthy persons who've put their names forward. but that is, I think, an important factor.
I agree. Another thing to add to this, we just went through this 4 months ago, back in January, and nominated a slate of leaders, and their tenure was very short. I think in the sake of, to Christie's point, sake of continuity and stability, that it would be wise for this committee to go with the slate that their terms are going to at least allow them to fulfill their leadership role if the entire CPE board chooses to confirm them. And I should say this, I appreciate all of those who put their names forward. Dr. Stott, I think, has done a remarkable job with CPE, leading a number of other committees. His statement of interest was very impressive. He's been on every committee. His heart is in this. Higher ed is, he loves higher ed and wants to promote it in any way. But unfortunately, with his term coming up June 30th, that just leaves a large question mark there, I think, for us. So it would appear that to go with those, with Lucas and Eric, whose terms won't expire in this year, would seem to be the route to go.
I definitely feel as though very grateful to Dr. Stott. He is a passionate, committed member of this organization, and we're fortunate to have him serve, albeit as a faculty representative, which is, I think he does with distinction as opposed to at large. But I'm very reluctant to rely on the promise or hope, I guess it is the hope, that he will be reappointed without regard to that as a fact that we can rely on. I think we can absolutely encourage Dr. Stott, if he is appointed to an at-large term, to reconsider, keep his expression of interest handy, and absolutely consider resubmitting his expression of interest for the 2022 term.
Yeah. Very good point, Christy. Very good point. Travis, we need official action during this meeting, so we'll need a motion and a second and then a vote on putting forward.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve Lucas Menser as chairman and Eric Ferris as vice chairman of CPE for this, the rest of this term? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So Christy motions, Kevin seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like size. Motion passes. Very good. So there is the slate of candidates that will be forwarded to the entire CPE board for our next meeting. Any other business?
My only other request is that as the chairman of this nominating committee, that there is an expression of appreciation to Dr. Stott for his interest, and at least an explanation of our reservations to further consider him as a nominee, if that would be agreeable for you to do. I mean, I know in the past I've had similar conversations with people who have come forward to express their interest, but I certainly don't want to discourage him. It's likely he could serve on this board again, and I don't want him to at all have his interest dampened.
Yeah, Christy, that I will take you up on that so long as I can remember. I will have to make a note, but very good point. And it's hard to make a decision when we have good candidates. And in this case, I think the deciding factor was just the length of Dr. Stott's term on the board. So I will try to remember to thank him for his interest in serving and to not discourage him for a future endeavor if he does get reappointed again. So
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, if there's no other business, Kevin, no other business?
No other business.
Travis, do we have any final words from you?
No, I think we're all good. We'll, Richard, if you'll just, at the next, it'll be on the agenda for the next council meeting, probably the first thing we'll take up. And if you'll be the one reporting out as the chair, and the council will take it from there.
And just to clarify, the council meeting is May 13. It's a special called council meeting. It'll be at the top of that one.
Heather, what time was that? I may or may not have that on my calendar. What time is it scheduled?
I believe it is at 3 o'clock. It's next Thursday.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion to adjourn by Christy. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very good. Second by Kevin. All in favor, click that red X in the upper left-hand corner of your screens. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.